So moving along to WrestleDream, this event, it was in Seattle, Washington. It had like 6K people in the building. That's fine. AEW actually set it up where the ring was actually surrounded with people. See, they're doing the smart thing. And what this is inevitably, instead of just packing the hard cam side, they just darkened out the top and then filled all around the fucking ring, and then that just looks way better. And inevitably it's like, just go to smaller buildings. I just don't understand why they just don't do that, and then the noise will be crazier and all that, but it's all good. Maybe it's just the allure of like, we do these big buildings, but I'm not going to shit on it. I'm going to just say, I'm just going to look at it like, if I had $1 billion, dude, I guess I'd do the same thing. But maybe after this show, which was promoted as end of an era, which is fucking stupid because every match on this fucking card had no build to it whatsoever. End of what era? That's end of an era, quote unquote, is like, you could build to that for months and months and months and sell tickets and pay-per-views. End of what era? It could have been the end of multiple eras or something. I don't fucking know. You could have built a story out of, well, it's the new era. It's the end of Danielson's era of wrestling regularly. He's only going to do handpicked opponents, and this is the first one. This is the era of Edge, and this is the era of fucking, I don't know, maybe you fucking paid Jade a shitload of money to have her drop the belt at this show or something. I don't know, man. There's so many things you could have done if that was what you're trying to do, but it's just the fucking rated R era is what they were alluding to, which is very stoogey of them, and I'll break that all down later. But shout out AEW, because I mean, this was a moment. You can't say it wasn't. It was it was a secret that people said was the worst kept secret, but it was a secret that people, I think, still just couldn't believe, like couldn't even wrap their heads around that would even fucking happen. Sort of the way it did too, which we'll break down in a minute. I don't know. I'll get into more of that later. But Seattle, Washington, 0 hour kicks off, and Tony Khan's in the ring with an opening ceremony to honor Antonio Inoki. Shout out Antonio Inoki, RIP, man. I'm a fucking Inoki mark too, especially in that Hulk Hogan Ichiban era, dude. That's my shit. Anyways, so he's with the grandsons of Antonio Inoki, and he is with Shibata in the ring, and they do the Ichi Nissan Da, and they have a picture of, I'm such a mark, Hairline would be roasting me so fucking hard right now.
Dummy, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. So Tony's geeking out. They gave him an Inoki scarf, and they have a bunch of these scarves, whether that was really an Inoki scarf or they just manufacture a shitload of them and tell people they were Inoki scarves, remain to be seen. But that's my that's my theory on things. But I don't know. They just Shibata's a student of Inoki, and fucking RIP. And he does deserve an event. If anyone deserves an event dedicated to him, it's fucking Inoki. So like, Tony Khan's got $1 million and he does an event in honor of Inoki. I'm gonna fucking be cool with that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I can't even hate on that. So 0 hour, we got Jim Ross, we got Excalibur, and Nigel McGuinness. This was actually a good lineup. Excalibur wasn't pissing me off so bad with Nigel and Ross there. It's like they kind of hone him in, when you got Shivani there and shit, or Chris Jericho, it just gets goofy. Anyways, the first match was an 8-person mixed tag team: Diamante, Mercedes Martinez, Lee Moriarty, and Shane Taylor versus Athena, Billy Starks, Keith Lee, and Kojima. This match was so fucking random. I have no idea why they threw this together. I love all these people involved. Athena, me and Hairline get into fucking screaming matches over Athena and how over she is in Ring of Honor, how she's gotten over everywhere she's ever been. You put her on Dark, she gets over. She figures out a way. Billy Starks is great. She's great. Keith Lee's awesome. It looks like he's kind of getting back to his like old roots, kind of just, he's looking good, man. That's all I'll say. Kojima, okay, shout out Kojima. I won't be mad at Kojima. But and then I put these girls over on another episode. Diamante and Martinez, love that team. Taylor and Moriarty together, love that team. This is just weird and a random clusterfuck, but okay, they're trying something new. It was kind of compelling to see like you're like, oh shit, it's like 4-on-4, but it's there's 4 girls and 4 guys. Like it did look cool. But I mean, what was this really? I don't know, right? To me, it's like Athena and Diamante are like two of the best workers in there. Whatever. I won't spend too much time on this. The match was shout out Shane Taylor, shout out all these people. Even Athena hit the O face on Moriarty, and then they just pinned him, squashed him, even though this is like his second or third reinvention. Oh, Moriarty's now with Shane Taylor, and he's a whatever guy, he's a pure athlete or whatever. Like they've changed him like three times now. But he's just the same, and he's just a jobber. I don't know. I like Moriarty, but they got to figure out something with that guy. Moving along, BCC with John Moxley. Oh, sorry, pardon me. Moving along, Claudio Castagnoli with Moxley took on the War Master Josh Barnett. Now, I'm an MMA mark. Josh Barnett's, I believe, the youngest UFC heavyweight champion of all time. I believe that record still stands. He's one of the he's like the second UFC heavyweight champion, I believe, as well. He's like the second or third, I would like to say. And he's one of the greatest catch wrestlers of all time. That's a shoot. Now, this match was whatever. Barnett trained with Inoki-san. He is, like Inoki's given him his blessing. Josh Barnett was basically just putting over Claudio as like, yo, this is like, if Inoki would have liked anyone in the business today, it would be you. So let's do this in honor of him. I'm cool with all that. John Moxley was the absolute shits on commentary. I just can't help it to tell you guys. And like, he's popping Jim Ross and all that. And I get it's funny, but he doesn't get how, like, I don't know, you guys, you got to figure it out with this guy, man. He can't be on commentary. And I'm not offended by him going like, oh, we just gave that shit away for free. Like, I'm not worried about that, but it's the cool guy. Yeah, shooby doo what? Like, it's almost like he's trying and he's stepping on shit, and then there's things going on where Color's got something to say and he's just like bibbling, talking about some other shit, and he was atrocious. But this match was what it was, and shout out Claudio. He gets the win, and in a good fashion as well. Sort of buried the Sabre Jr. Danielson shit later, because this was a little cleaner than that, I almost feel like, in some aspects. But either way, Barnett cuts a promo, they shake hands. I'm a mark, I'll take it. It's on the pre-show. Okay, that's like a pre-show thing, but it's weird. This is where Claudio, he's wrestling on pre-shows and losing to Eddie Kingston. Like, that's where he went, and you guys were talking about fucking him being in WWE's the US champion. He loses to Roman. He's taking on Shinsuke and all this shit, having bangers with Sheamus, and that's worse than this. That's crazy, but obviously I don't know better than him, and he wanted to go to AEW, but I just hopefully, like, I don't know, man. Put the world title on him, have him and Joe go at it for the world. Well, Edge is there. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So, anyways, up next we have Luchasaurus versus Nick Wayne. This match was completely unnecessary, but it's Nick Wayne's hometown. Lucha beat Nick Wayne. I tweeted out on X, or X'd out on tweet, whatever you want to call it, Twitter, that Nick Wayne, after Lucha fucking chokeslammed him onto the fucking apron over the top rope, he should have just threw him in the ring and covered him. I don't know if the listeners out there, watched the event or not, but there was a spot. It was brilliant. And this match is good. Lucha's just working big man style. He gets it. Whoever got in his ear, Christian, obviously, they got something with Luchasaurus. Change the name. That's all I'm going to say. Don't even stop being whatever Saurus, but Luchasaurus. Get rid of the Lucha. Be Dinosaurus. I don't know. I don't have a good one, right?
Dummy. Yeah.
But just think of something, But either way, though, Nick Wayne, later on in the night, he would be back. And I just think, again, if you're going to choke slam a guy over to the apron, don't have him come back. Like, you could have did this on Collision or some shit, and then had Nick Wayne just run out for the main event with his ribs taped up, because that's crazy to even do to someone, let alone the match went on for a bit longer. Like, what the fuck? But overall, though, I got to shout Luchasaurus out, man. He's really getting over with me every time I see him wrestle. That big man style psychology. Hairline, yeah.
Yeah.
The AEW World Trios Championship match was up next. TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel. Two of these guys, Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste, they were in WWE as Shane Thorne and whatever the fuck the other guy's name was. There, shout them out. This bad dude Tito guy, I'm not too familiar with, although I have heard of him before, like via social media or something. Caster bodied it. His fucking rhymes were stellar. This match was whatever, though. I mean, it's just a random team they threw on. Shout out TMDK. I know that they're Zack Sabre Jr.'s crew, but again, it's just, oh, we just threw this together. Like you couldn't have gotten them just like attacking the Acclaimed and then things like this for a few weeks. I don't know. Oh, but they travel around the world to do the indies and stuff. Yeah, but this is what's stopping you from being just taking it to that next level, boys. That's all I'm fucking saying. This is what's, but I'm never gonna hate on TMDK showing up and getting a fucking paycheck because those are two guys like, how were they not on your main roster tag division doing jobs? Like in WWE. That was crazy to me. The mighty O'Neil. But anyways, moving along. So yeah, Max Caster hits the mic drop and they get the win, obviously. So we kick the pay-per-view off. It's the 2-on-1 handicap match. Taz comes out. He joins the broadcast booth. MJF cuts a promo. He's like, I'm going to fucking body. He just buries these two motherfuckers. He's like, I'm going to shove this guy's head up your ass. He's doing the baby face thing. I've called it out on previous shows where, like, okay, the old adage, like the old school wrestling is a baby face can't promise or say that they're going to do things they don't do. Right. So they go, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it my all to defeat you and things like that. But if he goes, I promise I'm gonna beat you at the pay-per-view with I swear on my family, and then they don't beat them at the pay-per-view, like the babyface loses, it like buries you, right? Like that's something you just don't do. You don't promise shit you don't deliver on. So MJF is literally, he's going, I promise I'll choke out Samoa Joe. And then he chokes out Samoa Joe. He's going, I'll shove your head up your ass. I swear, when you get out here, I'll shove this guy's head up your ass. And then he does it. I don't know. He's genius, but to me, bro, this should not be what your world champion's doing. This isn't a marquee match. Oh, but they needed Christian on the main event. And so, but then the people would say, why wasn't the world title in the main event? So they found a way to circumvent that. No. No. It's just like, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Then do an injury angle or do, I don't like the other dude's injured. Adam Cole's shoot injured, and then you have this guy just pissing in Dutch and Vince's mouth on TV. Like, how do you just bring oh, they're great in ROH, and then you just bring them up for 3 weeks? They do rank shit. They like broke some dude's fucking leg, some jobber's leg on like a brick of wood on Collision or whatever, and then they just come in and then MJF just beats them. He does. I mean, and like I don't know. He's brilliant though. Like he's one of the best workers in the company without question. And just the fact, like, yeah, he says it in the press conference, we're going to listen to some of the press conference later, but he just says it like he does the scoop slam. He gets it over. Kangaroo kick, hairline, shoved that shit in my face too, because he got the kangaroo kick over.
Dummy. Yeah.
And I don't know how the fuck he honestly did, because I was like, that's going to be pushing it. Like, I don't think you can go further than that. He just, in this one, he shoved a guy's head up the dude's ass. And for me, this is like WWE style. Like, you remember when people would go, WWE is just like for kids, it's insulting our intelligence. That's what MJF feels like to me. And Hairline would bring that up. Oh, fat jokes. He's like, yeah, you fat boy. And it's like he does fat jokes, dick jokes, and then he shoves heads up butts and he does a kangaroo kick and he gets like he's literally healing and he's doing it while he's like technically a heel, but he just is playing into like man children shit, and you can call that genius, but I don't know if the masses, I don't know how this era of MJF is going to go down in history. Like when you look back to, he does the dinner debonair and these things where that was like, okay, I'll give that a pass because it was COVID era, but we're getting to the point where it's like, God damn it, man. This is like, do I like watching him wrestle? Yes. Do I like watching him in Adam Cole's segments? Yes. Do I like watching it for the reason I like watching wrestling? Not really. That's what it's turning into, which is weird because I always loved MJF because he would just like armbar people. Or I remember when he was like, I'm going to beat Darby with a headlock takeover, and he beat Darby with a headlock takeover. And it was genius the way he did it. I don't know. I want that MJF back, I guess, but he just called me a mark and told me to shove it, which is fair. So he beats them. He just pisses in their mouths. And this was a good match. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. There's something about this Vincent guy. He's got a I don't like him talking. He should talk less. That's all I'll say. I think, right? Butch is the chubbier guy. Whichever guy is the guy who does like the tongue thing, he should just be the only one to talk. The other dude should chill. And I think Hairline revealed to me that dude used to be a Ring of Honor cosplayer, or a Randy Orton cosplayer, pardon me. That's fucking crazy, before he was in Ring of Honor. And that shit popped me hard. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. Not a cosplayer, but like he was in like one of those mimic leagues where you do like fake, he does like a fake wrestler, and he was Randy Orton or whatever. So up next, we have the Ring of Honor World and New Japan World Strong Openweight Championship match. Eddie Kingston versus ROH Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata. And someone tweeted out before the pay-per-view, they were like, whose WrestleDream is this? Like, whose dream of wrestling is this? And I quote tweeted, and I was like, Eddie Kingston's, when I saw this match. But I don't know, man. I gotta be honest. This was I'm just not so much into this. I think like Shibata's awesome. Shout him out. Kingston loves Inoki. Shout out Kingston, I guess. I won't go as hard as as Hairline would, but this isn't this just wasn't for me, honestly. I was tuned out, and I was like, wow, this pay-per-view is really starting off a little weak, and overall it was kind of mediocre. That being said, though, it ended really strong. But anyways, the TBS championship match, Statlander versus Julia Hart with Brody King. So Tony Schiavone comes to the broadcast booth for this one. And then, I don't know, the match kicks off. It's all good. They basically, so Julia Hart, the story's like she has been undefeated in all of 2023 up until this point, and Statlander beat her. She defeated the undefeated, and she's also defeated the undefeated by beating Jade and ending her streak. So, I think that's a cool little story you got going on. She's got a great look. Her music's cool. In the press conference, the media scrum afterwards, she talked about how, I don't know if I'll play her clip, but she just talked about how like she wasn't even into wrestling. She got asked to be a valet for someone, and then she's like, oh, I think I could do this. And then she started training and got the shit kicked out of her, and like was studying YouTube moves. She would look up like top 10 moves. Now, that being said, just watch her wrestle, bro. She's not doing, I don't know, she gets it better than like 90% of the dudes in AEW. Or maybe I won't say that. Maybe I won't shit on all of them like that. But I don't know. For when I heard her say that, my jaw hit the floor. She literally said she was looking up, like, you guys all know these like top 10 amazing red moves compilation. And it's like to a Slipknot song or something, That is what she was watching to learn how to wrestle. And then she found shit she liked and then learned the fundamentals after. That's crazy. So shout her out. And this was actually a decent match. And Julia Hart's really got something. I like her with Brody King as like her fucking valet. You want to call it that? I know Hairline would roast Brody King. I'm not going to do that. I love him. But I like him as like coming out in his, I don't know. I like his get up. I like his look. And I just, whatever they got going on, it's all good. I like she uses the Spider German. It's the Mark shit. She's got a great moonsault. Her shit is like a shoot. Fucking, she drops like Vader did, though. People are like, oh, Julia Hart's got such a great moonsault. Compare it to Tiffy's. Bro, no one touches Tiffany Stratton's fucking moonsault. And Julia Hart's, she fought Vert Vixen, I think, on Collision. And she fucking dude, you can see her and hear her because they had the mic ringed way too prominently. Go watch Collision, guys. And she like fucking landed on Vert Vixen's head, apologizing to her. She came down like Vader, dog. So Julia, brush that shit up, but it is not as sketchy as Lita's moonsault. She's got the sketchiest one in the business.
Dummy, yeah.
So, but yeah, Statlander gets the win. Shout her out. Moving along. This next match here, this match just really pissed me off, and it was pointless. I X'd out, posted, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This was utterly pointless. So we had an AEW World Tag Title #1 contender match. The Guns and Austin and Colton, Bullet Club Gold, took on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, who just won the 6-man titles, the Ring of Honor 6-man titles with Hangman. And then they took on the Lucha Bros, where Penta El Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix are teaming up. Now, I don't know if we covered it I don't know when we covered it, but Moxley got shoot dropped on his fucking head. Okay. He got knocked out and he's like, cover me. And then, you know what I mean? I think we covered it on the show. Everybody knows already by this point. So Ray Phoenix is your international title. And instead of having like Ray Phoenix wrestle Shibata-san, like fucking Inoki's student for the international belt in a great bout, Shibata did the job for Kingston anyways. You know, like, why didn't they do that? Like, international title, fucking WrestleDream. Maybe Inoki's student can become a double champ too. And then we can get double champ versus double champ down the line or something, especially because at the press conference as well, Shibata's talking about he just wants to be in AEW and Ring of Honor like for a long time. He's like, I want to stay here for a long time. Fucking Tony Khan's like, dude, we'll have you forever. Put the international strap on him. Have him shoot, knock fucking Ray Phoenix. Just kidding. I don't wish that on anything, but just have him fucking tap Ray Phoenix. Who cares? The belt already, it's bounced around. It's silly. And then you have the FTW champion Hook and Orange Cassidy in a team. So in this match, you got the Guns who are in Bullet Club Gold. Then you have two of the three ROH six-man champions, the international champion and the FTW champion. All in one. What the fuck are we doing with all these belts? Why are these the matchups? And then the Young Bucks, who are the six-man champs, right? So instead of like establishing six-man teams, right? Like two guys who just left the tag division to be with Hangman, who's in a singles match, by the way. What the fuck? Just buried three of the top tag teams, I guess, because you know Tony Khan loves Hook and Orange together. They just buried three guys in the division. Like, why the fuck would you do this? Are you guys following me? Like, this just does not make sense. This is nobody's dream. I don't get why the Bucks would have to do this same match, but do it with the fucking Righteous instead of MJF squishing them. Like, what's going on? Get a team over. This was a moment. I don't know why even have a four-way. It's crazy. Why didn't the Bucks just defend their six-man? Oh, Hangman has a match against Swerve, which, by the way, we're going to get into up next. Great fucking match. That's the transition right there, I guess. They did a bunch of flips and the fucking and the Young Bucks won the goddamn match. Okay, that's what happened, and it is what it is, and it's silly. But moving along this match, we'll get into the good shit. Hangman Adam Page, and I tell Hairline all the time, man, Page can cut great fucking promos, and he delivers on big time matches. Here's the only thing. Again, guys, now you guys can say whatever, but they did the hand stab Undertaker thing where he stabs the hand and then signs the contract in blood. They did that leading into this match. I don't know why fucking AEW can't stop copying WWE with that shit. I don't get it. But either way, though, Swerve is just $1 million. Literally every fucking wrestler at that media scrum name drop Swerve as like, yo, he should be the next up. And he fucking should be. This is the thing with Swerve too. Y'all got to understand. They say, yo, Swerve is, he's too small. So he bulks up. They say, yo, Swerve, he's a good talker, but this. So he fucking, like, he hears the criticism and he rolls with it. This is a guy who's like absorbing everything around him. Strap the rocket ship to this motherfucker. That's all I got to say. I've been putting Swerve over forever. Him with Prince Nana, so good. I think this is the faction. I've said it a million fucking times. The faction is Prince Nana, Swerve, Hobbs, and that Harley Cameron girl who can sing and rap. That's the faction, the Mogul Embassy, the embassy, whatever. That's the faction. Please, Tony, I know you're in the Discord. Listen to me, and please, that is the faction, okay? But anyways, this match was so good. It went a smidge too long for me. Went a little smidge too long. And I would like to say they got me with the false finishes, but the problem is they do so much that what's going to be false finishes almost. I don't know, but Hangman doing the job was the correct thing to do. And Swerve winning was the correct thing. I'm sorry. I bet you some of the fucking Hairline drones are mad. They're like, oh, we want the spots and the fucking, Hairline breaks all that shit down. I just break it down the business, baby. This match was phenomenal. When they tossed out Prince Nana, it was way too fucking late. Also, Swerve was so over, though. The fans were behind him. He's hometown. You expect it. It's funny because remember, like, WWE they'd go to Canada and be like, or the UK and be like, oh, this is Insano land. This is crazy land where they cheer and for whoever and boo whoever. It's funny because that's what AEW is. Like that's like they are Insano land, like the people just cheer for who they want to cheer. And I know that there's a hometown aspect to it, but yeah, man, Swerve wins. He's so good. He's money, push this guy to the moon. And I think, honest to God, dude, I would rather see Swerve as the world champion if MJF is just doing this tag shit and just let Swerve. Fucking, I don't know if he's drawing ratings. I don't know what's up, but damn, he works good. Hairline would say he does the leg slaps. I did catch a few of those. So if you're listening, Swerve, brother, just work on a few of those, I guess, right? That would be Hairline's main criticism of you. And he's a harsh critique. And I know you don't give a fuck, but I'm okay. I feel like yours are not. I feel like you do them good personally, whatever. But I did catch a few, but it's wrestling, so you're bound to see that stuff, especially when you know what you're looking at. But yeah, man, I don't know. Hangman delivers on the big stage. He always does, man. So yeah, shout out fucking Swerve Strickland and just give him the push. Give him the push. So moving along, Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta versus Ricky Starks. Somebody. So I think they're gonna do Starks and Mox next. Yuta fucking does the job. Sorry. So Yuta does the job for Starks. He hits the Rochambeau and pins him. Does someone not like Starks? I don't know. This match didn't need to be on the pay-per-view whatsoever, but I don't know. Consider this like a Divas Era women's match, the piss break or whatever they used to call it. Like that's pretty much what that is, which sucks because it's Starks. It's almost like, dude, you could have built a really good fucking strong go home show. Up next, we had a dream match, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus the New Japan TV champion, Zack Sabre Jr. No title on the line. I don't know, man. This didn't live up to the hype for me. I'm never going to be mad at seeing these two wrestling, but there was no story. They didn't build it up for me. And it's just like someone said, oh, it's Daniel Bryanson's. The story is he's going away and now he's handpicking opponents. Okay, but they didn't really even say that on TV. That's just like, you got to be a big mark to fucking know that. So I know that, so I'm cool with it, and I'll always watch them wrestle. But then Danielson at the press conference, he's backstage laughing about how his arm and his wrist are all swollen and bruised. He just had a fucking surgery with a pin in it. You have to save some of these guys from themselves now. I'm not going to say tell Danielson to retire, but fuck, man. I think I don't know, man. He's starting to like it's I have a different perspective on him since he's been to AEW. I didn't realize on his way out of WWE, I have tremendous respect for Danielson, and he is truly one of my all times. But like, goddamn, I just he really hurt himself. I think he just really doesn't give a fuck, man. And WWE were reeling him in, and I think that's better for him. Now, I'm not saying retire and shit. And they did tease that Brie Bella, I guess they're asking him. She might come into AEW one day. And I think we should start supporting AEW more, guys, again. I know that there's some people who listen to this to hear us rag on it really hard. And I tell Hairline off pod, I'm like, dude, I want it to be good. Don't you get it? Like, I wish it wasn't just me like snapping out on shit. And so like I'll take the good, I guess, and then the bad's just got to come with it, because WWE is not 100% flawless either, but it's just more palatable. Like at least it's firing on multiple cylinders, whereas AEW, it's like, goddamn, but like they always put good shit and then it's surrounded by so much shit that they don't get drives people off. So I just hope they can reel it in, especially with the debut that we're about to get into. But up next, we had the trios grudge match: Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi. They took on the Callis family, Takeshita, Guevara, and Will Ospreay. I don't know this Guevara, Takeshita, Ospreay faction. I like that these dudes. I like this with Callis now. This Callis family's getting over with me. I'm not gonna lie. This match was just not for me. I don't know what to tell you. Kenny is super over with me. The stuff he was doing, I'm like, dude, he needs to go to WWE. I think if anybody, and I get what he's doing, he'd probably scoff at me and laugh at me. He's probably an AEW for lifer. But to me, he's one of these guys that the facials, his pacing, it's all there, dude. His selling's great. Like I don't care. Like I know Jim Cornette and people hate on him and stuff. And I get why. Like I've seen the clips of him like finger blasting a dude's bunghole, you know? And it's like, what are you doing, you know, in wrestling? If you want to do this, like, I don't know if wrestling's the forum for that. But that being said, man, Kenny Omega he's a tremendous talent. He was really great. Ibushi clearly. Now this is the third, fourth time we've seen him, or I might be talking. This is the third time I believe we've seen him back in AEW, and yeah, I think the damage is done. I'm not hating on Ibushi. I never will. I think he gave his body to the business, folks. I think I'll never be like he's washed, but yeah, it's just, I'll thank him forever. And it's not like he can't do anything, but his style's clearly what it is now. You're not going to see him do the things he used to do. That's just never coming back. You can tell. And yeah, I think we're just going to see him get more meatier and juicier and just kicking people a lot. I think that's his style. To say some positives, Guevara, it's awesome. He's a heel now. He gets great heat. Osprey kind of goes back and forth. Again, Guevara and Osprey, I've put this over on the show before. They're two guys who, when they do flippy shit, they are crazy and they look like they're trying to fucking hurt you or themselves. And that's, if you're gonna be a heel who's a flipper, that's how you do it. It can't be like graceful, and unless you're in like Mexico and it's like CMLL, you know, it can't be that way. These dudes now, I'm not an advocate of like hurt yourself, and Guevara's fucking crazy, and Osprey's clearly changed his style up a bit, although he still does crazy shit, but I think he's reeled it in a lot, which you can tell. And then Takeshita is just awesome. What can we say about him? He's the fucking truth. He'd be good anywhere. WWE, AEW, you know, you stick him anywhere, he's gonna look like $1,000,000. And it's crazy because I saw videos of him like early on in his career, and it's like, I don't know. He's the 180, the reinvention he's truly done is crazy. So this match, I'm actually going to put it over pretty good, but it was kind of just not for like, I was kind of tapped out of it, and except for like Omega did a few good things, and I'm enjoying the family, you know. But then they lose, dude, and Sammy pins fucking Jericho, and Omega's on like a terrible losing streak, and we're gonna get the Golden Jets in AEW. So that's going to be the tag team. Chris Jericho pitched it when AEW first launched. Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega are going to team up and take on the tag division. I wouldn't be shocked if they're the ones who beat FTR. Be ready for that. Hairline's going to be like fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Hairline's popping for that. He's like, fuck yes, take the belts off FTR. But it's yeah, man, it's coming eventually, and I'm kind of excited for it, to be honest. This is kind of what I wanted Kenny and Jericho to do, and I've said this a million times, and people on X who've accused us of being AEW haters, I'm like, no, dude, you don't get it. Like, I wanted, when my fantasy mark booking when AEW first began was Jericho winning the belt, and then Kenny getting it from him. And then after Kenny loses it to Mox or whatever they did there, then it goes Kenny and Jericho team up and go after the tag belts. Instead, they do sort of like the Hangman Kenny rivalry angle instead. But I thought it was going to be like Kenny Jericho type shit. So I love this. I like this. To me, I'm like, okay, do this, right? Like, they're both vets. They both got to take it easy. They can cut the load in half a little bit. And Bullet Club Gold and shit, they'll put on good matches. I don't know. So I know people are probably like, oh, fuck it, Jericho, yada yada, but I'm okay with that. But I just I don't know. This trios match was whatever. But speaking of FTR, we have Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, the the World Tag Team Champions, pardon me. FTR taking on Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis. Again, they just do a job. So Aussie Open are glorified jobbers, guys. Now, we never shit on jobbers. It's just weird because they're like young and on the come up, and they try and put them over as these like big deals. And they are in the future, but this isn't how you get future talent over. Like, just have these guys reigning supreme in Ring of Honor while you have an AEW tag team division playing out on in AEW. I just really don't get it, but I think it's time FTR drop those belts right away. I do. And I would love to see them put in like a run in WWE again. I really would. And it seems as though Cash has a lot more miles left on his body than Dax. And so I would like to see that WWE run sooner than later because I don't know how long Dax has left. And I'm not shitting on him at all, but he is banged up. And in these big matches, he comes out there taped and padded and fucking braced to the fucking nines. And I don't blame him, brother. And to put on these matches he puts on consistently, he beats the shit out of his body. And I don't I just want to see him have a WWE one last go, before all is said and done, like the proper way, not when it's too late and it's obvious Cash is just carrying the load, because Cash really did all the fucking selling in this match. And which is, I mean, that's what you do, right? And I'm not shitting on that whatsoever, but I don't know. And I do like Aussie Open. Like they're good. They're a good team, but they just gotta fuck, like, and it's what Hairline says. What's the difference between this guy, Kyle Fletcher, and Nick Wayne, and Mark Davis and the Butcher? What's the difference between them? Basically, they might as well be brothers, because it's like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. So either way, though, shout out FTR. And then we get to the main event, the TNT Championship match, 2 out of 3 falls, Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. And basically we knew what was going to happen. So we're going to break down fucking Edge debuting at the end of this, and we're going to listen to Edge and Christian at the press conference. So just to talk about this match, first and foremost, this match really won me over. Christian sent Lucha over to the back to the back. He's like, no, I can do this alone, And this is why the Lucha and Nick Wayne appearances just felt weird. It's like, we already seen these guys, just, you don't got to do all this. But like Nick Wayne got fucking chokeslammed over onto the fucking apron. Like, are you still here, or are you not, like, at the getting checked on medically and shit? Like, it's, you just do, it's weird to me. But either way, Darby shows up, him and Christian fucking go at it, and Nick Wayne's mother's watching from the front row. Christian's playing to that. Darby sneaks a fall by pulling the turtleneck over Christian's face, which was pretty good. Pins him. Christian turns it all hardcore. The match gets crazy. The fans are super into it. They're super behind Darby. The match has great heat. This is honestly, it was good. They start doing some hardcore shit. Christian's like suplexing Darby around, slamming him on steps. Like, guys, go look the highlights up on Twitter. Darby's gonna die or end up in a wheelchair, or he's gonna be in so much pain when he's 80, or he's just gonna be a weird gelatin freak who just doesn't feel this shit or something. Because I don't know what the fuck. This guy got dropped on his head, neck, and shoulder on a ring stair, like on the court, like the way you don't imagine would be a real way to get dropped on the steps. He got dropped on the steps viciously, should be dead. So shout out Darby Allin. And we've put him over a million times. We just wish he's in compelling shit. Well, this is in compelling shit. Christian, I'll give AEW props. This is the only match that had like a bunch of story going into it, into the end of the pay-per-view. So okay, like I'll give them props for that, even though shoehorning this into the main event made what was going to happen so glaringly obvious. And so I don't know, the match was what it was. They both get falls on each other, and then eventually the referee gets knocked out, right? Of course. Like, and it already got hardcore. I guess he's not calling DQs for dropping Darby on his fucking neck on ring stairs and stuff like this. And then there's Christian starts tearing apart the ring. He's exposing the wood on the fucking ground. All of these sort of things, right? And it looks like just a complete clusterfuck, which I felt this sort of took away from Edge's inevitable appearance. I feel like it just, all the ring being torn apart and all that just took a bit away. Like, it'll go down the annals in time. Like, it looks like fucking Edge is at a mud show in wrestling. Like, and I couldn't, but it didn't, I'm not shitting on the debut at all. It actually popped me, and I rewatched it like 400 times. But I'm a mark, what can I say? But this match, just basically it turns into a clusterfuck. Everyone runs down, da 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 da. And then Nick Wayne grabs the title, and then he's about to fucking hit Christian with it and help Darby get the last fall while the ref's knocked out. And then he spins around and hits Darby in the head with the fucking title. So Nick Wayne pulls an AR Fox, who just disappeared from TV randomly, and did a double swerve turn. I don't know. This shit is so fucking just ADD. I don't even know what to tell you. It's just so poorly thought out, but it did pop me, and I did not see that shit coming whatsoever. And it made Nick Wayne a little bit interesting. But what are they trying to Wheeler Yuta him? They did the same thing with Garcia, with Yuta, with this dude. Like they end up going heel, and they're the youngster on the come up. Tony just falls back on these same. He has like the same five ideas he just does all the time, or else they do WWE shit. Anyways, Nick Wayne hits Darby with the title. Fucking Christian gives him a hug. He's like his daddy now. Whatever. Nick Wayne's mom's selling it so good. Earlier in the match, she splashed the water on Christian. She's selling it like, "Oh my god, son, what did you do?" Like she can't believe it. And I don't know, man. Nick Wayne's mom, damn, she's I've seen her in person too. And she is an attractive woman. That's to say the least. So shout out Christian for becoming stepdaddy, I guess. But Nick Wayne, I'm interested in him now. And then yeah, so WrestleDream overall it was pretty lackluster, but the end there was like, Swerve and Hangman, and then the main event really fucking were awesome, and then the Edge moment was brilliant. And yes, I've said it a million times, but I'm going to repeat it one last time. I'm going to conjure it up. Please, AEW, take advantage of this and the boost in ratings and the ticket sales hopefully you get, because he's going to be on Collision, and I read they had like 1,800 tickets sold for that. Hopefully they get it up to like 4K or something for Edge. Yeah, that's my review of WrestleDream.